There's something you've been missing that you haven't been able to name yet. Not her laugh, not the sound of her in the next room. Something more specific than that. Something that shows up in the middle of a perfectly fine conversation with someone who means well. And you realize halfway through that they're not hearing you, not the way she did. She knew what you meant before you finished the sentence. She knew when the thing you were saying was covering for the thing you actually felt. She knew when to push and when to just sit in the room with you. That isn't something you build in a conversation. That's something that gets built over years of someone choosing to pay attention. That is what being truly heard feels like. And most men who lost their wives are grieving it every day without knowing that's what they're grieving. Have you ever tried to explain something important to someone, something real, and realized halfway through that they were listening to your words but missing the whole thing? Have you ever finished a conversation and felt more alone than when it started? Have you ever stopped bringing certain things up, not because you ran out of things to say, but because the experience of not being heard was worse than the silence? That's the grief underneath. The grief. The loss of being known at that level of specificity. Here's the truth about this season. You cannot replace that kind of hearing by finding someone new to talk to. It was not built through proximity. It was built through years of consistent attention. Her paying attention to you and you learning to let her. Both of those things take time to rebuild. And the first place they get rebuilt is inside yourself. A man who cannot hear himself, who has learned to dismiss his own inner life as weakness or self-indulgence, cannot receive being heard from anyone else. Because someone offering you real attention will feel overwhelming if you spent months telling yourself that your feelings don't deserve that kind of space. The first step in rebuilding the capacity to be heard is learning to hear yourself. Not to fix what you find, not to manage it or analyze it or turn it into a plan, just to hear it, to say, this is what is true for me right now, and let that be enough. She did that for you every day. She created a room where your inner life was welcome. You get to learn how to create that room for yourself. It won't feel natural at first. It will feel indulgent and uncomfortable and maybe a little pointless. Do it anyway, because the man who learns to hear himself is the man who eventually becomes capable of being heard by someone else and of truly hearing another person in return. That is the foundation. Everything else gets built on. I'm Ron Simplified Myers, your uplifting life partner. Come walk with me at simplifieduplifters.com. And most important, remember, you are extraordinary.